So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, we're back with our second rebuild here in the Curry era, and it's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm not really sure how to describe the summer of 2016 in terms of the NBA offseason. Of course, we all remember the crazy 2015-16 NBA playoffs. Of course, the Western Conference Finals between the OKC Thunder and the Golden State Warriors. Thunder go up 3-1, of course, blow that 3-1 lead. Warriors advance to the finals, go up 3-1 against the Cavs, and then blow that 3-1 lead. Of course, one of the craziest free agency decisions in the history of basketball happened this offseason, and with this Thunder team, Kevin Durant taking his talents to the Bay Area, teaming up with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, leaving Russell Westbrook behind in Oklahoma City, and this is a very sticky situation, or at least it was, to say the least. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about this Thunder team once we get into the video. This team only won 47 games throughout this regular season, finished 6th in the Western Conference, so certainly going to take a little bit of work here today. Now, before we get into the video, let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comment section, whether they are Curry era, LeBron era, whatever it is, whatever you guys want to see, challenges, different series ideas, I'm open to it all. We have, of course, finished out the regular rebuilds here on 2K25, so now we are kind of just going with the flow and whatever you guys want to see. So excited for this one today. This Thunder team, of course, led by pretty much an MVP candidate in Russell Westbrook, was pretty good, but they definitely need some work. So let's get into it. Now, if you weren't a basketball fan or you just weren't old enough to remember the 2016 offseason, I genuinely kind of feel bad for you. It felt like one of the craziest times to be a fan of the sport, pretty much ever since I started watching back when I was like 7, 8 years old. So this was an absolutely chaotic offseason. I think everybody of age kind of remembers where they were when Kevin Durant decided to join the Golden State Warriors. So Russell Westbrook this season was obviously an MVP. He took home the award and he led this team to a 6th seed. So there's not a lot to work with here, let me just tell you that. So let's get in. Let's talk about this roster. There are a few players missing, most notably, again, I'm using notably with air quotes around it, Mr. Enes Kanter or Enes Freedom or whatever other crazy-ass lunatic name he's calling himself these days, was also on this team, but he's not in 2K. I'm not sure what 2K did to piss him off, but I'm assuming it was something. Let's start here at the point guard spot. Of course, the Russell Westbrook that kids are growing up with these days is not even remotely close to the Russell Westbrook of 2016, 2017. Russ still doesn't get the credit I think he deserves for just how good he was. He was an absolute stud this season, of course, won the MVP that we just talked about, and he's going to be the building block for us here today. So I'm excited to build around Russ. I am hopeful that we are able to get him a championship because, of course, he was not able to win one in real life with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, Cameron Payne's only 22 years old. He is going to be a nice backup point guard option for us today throughout this rebuild. He is only a 72 overall right now, but being only 22 as well, I certainly don't expect that to be a big problem. Glenn Washington, not a real person. Of course, if you guys watched yesterday's rebuild, you're probably aware that there are not, always the real players in here, right? There are, CPU generated, auto created, whatever the hell term you want to use, just to fill out the roster. Now, the shooting guard spot, Victor Oladipo. His time in Oklahoma City was very, very interesting because if we look at his numbers in Orlando, certainly a lot of promise, right? There you can see that there was maybe some sort of budding star in the league, and then, of course, finally completely broke out once he did get to Indiana. But I'm fully expecting Victor Oladipo to be a very important piece of today's rebuild. And, are we going to trade him and Sabonis to Indiana for Paul George? I don't know if we're going to do that, but he's only 24, so I expect him to continue to develop. I don't know who Jimmy Parker is. Let's head to the small forward spot. Andre Roberson is not a name I've heard in a while. Maybe one of the, I don't want to say stranger NBA players, but he was just so bad offensively, but so good defensively. Like, almost, I'm trying to make like a comp. I don't want to compare him to Tony Allen because it feels a little disrespectful to Tony Allen, but one of the true like stud defensive players in the league at this time, but it was just not so great on the offensive end of things. You got Anthony Morrow here as well. He's 31 years old. Nice role player. You got whoever Greg Brewer, Milt Connolly, and Ken Lucas are here as well. Now the power forward spot, Nick Collison. Isn't his jersey retired by the Thunder? I'm pretty sure it is. He's 35, has obviously been with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Seattle Supersonics for his entire career, but he is not going to be a big part of today's video. Marvin Henderson, Harold Ewing, whoever you are. Cool. And then the center spot, two pretty decent options with Steven Adams, who's only 23 at this time. He is going to be somebody who I think could be a very important piece throughout this rebuild. Is he going to start the entire time? Not 100% sure about that, but we will keep an eye on it. Is he really making 5 years, $100 million right now? I feel like that might not be accurate. Okay, I'll look into that. And then obviously Domantas Sabonis, who is here in his rookie season, eventually got traded to the Indiana Pacers and now a member of the Sacramento Kings, where he, in my opinion anyways, is currently one of the more underrated big men in all of basketball. So, but he's only 20 right now. So that's the team. That's what we're working with. There is a little bit of promise here with this group. Of course, there's only about 8 or 9 real players on this team. So we definitely have our work cut out for us. As I mentioned, this team won 47 games in real life and was a 6th seed. So I'd like to be, kind of there, if not even a little bit better by the time we kick off year 1. Pretty useless first trade here. I'm not even really sure why I'm showing you guys this, so I'll keep it short and sweet. But Harold Ewing, for whatever reason, is making $17 million. And one of my biggest pet peeves about 2K is not only the fact that they have auto-generated players on rosters that they created, but they make them, $17 million a year players at 66 overall. So thank you very much, Denver. No idea who Matt Davis is. He's not going to play, but he's making roughly $16.5 million less. Our first, I guess, real trade of today's video is going to come with the Toronto Raptors. Now, Nick Collison, as I mentioned, has been with the Thunder/Supersonics organization his entire career. And if there are any diehard Thunder fans watching this video, I apologize because I'm sure you love the legend of Nick Collison. But we're moving him and Anthony Morrow to Toronto for Patrick Patterson. We're also getting Fred VanVleet back in this deal, who's only 22 at this time. Of course, Fred VanVleet, I believe at one point in time, was actually the most, I don't know how to word this. Didn't he get the biggest contract for an undrafted, free agent at one point? I think he did anyways. But him and Patterson, of course, going to be a little bit younger than Collison and Morrow. We also give up a second round pick in 2018. But Patterson and VanVleet are certainly guys that I'd be interested in paying, or Collison and Morrow, maybe not so much. It is certainly not my favorite thing to do, just signing guys out of free agency, but when 2K puts, not real players on the roster and I can't really trade them because they're low overalls, I don't really have a choice. So I'm not going to throw away the first season because, of course, we do have an MVP on this team. But we are going to bring in a guy like Kevin Martin. Not a guy like Kevin Martin. We're going to bring in Kevin Martin. He's 33. Obviously, he's been with the Oklahoma City Thunder before. He's 6'7" and is going to be my backup small forward heading here into year 1. So, he's not a superstar or anything like that. And he's not any sort of major trade acquisition, but he is a nice little bit of an upgrade there. And then we're also going to throw some money here at J.J. Hickson. We are in need of some sort of backup center, backup big man, power forward, wherever we're going to play Sabonis. We need another backup. So I know it's not necessarily the most exciting part of this and most fun thing to do, I guess, if you will, but I don't really have another choice at this point. And then we also move 6-foot-tall Fred VanVleet to the shooting guard spot. So, yep, that is where we are at across the board. We are going to move around some positions. I'll set this rotation, and I'll see you guys with it before we kick off year 1. I'm not really sure what my expectations are for our first season here in Oklahoma City. Part of me says that this team is actually going to be relatively successful. I feel like Russell Westbrook's going to do a good job of carrying this group, but another part of me says, I have a 72 overall Fred VanVleet as my 6th man. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to choose to be optimistic. Now, it's going to be Russell Westbrook, Victor Oladipo, Andre Roberson, Domantas Sabonis, and Steven Adams 1 through 5. Strictly starting Sabonis off of, I guess, potential. This isn't a throwaway season by any means, but him or Patrick Patterson, I'm going to go with Sabonis. Fred VanVleet and Cameron Payne are going to be number 6 and 7 off the bench. Them, of course, both being young guards. We want to see how much that potential can grow. And then Kevin Martin, J.J. Hickson, and Patrick Patterson are going to round out this entire 10-man rotation. So it's certainly not the best team I've ever had here in 2K, but it is a good starting point, and I'm, I guess, excited for year 1. I'll see you guys at the end of it. I chose to be optimistic heading into year 1, and that was a mistake. We won 27 games, which is, of course, 20 less than this team actually won in real life. So, yeah, we got a lot of work to do with this group. Now, Steph Curry winning the MVP award here at the end of year 1. Joel Embiid, your Rookie of the Year. Jared Sullinger, 6th man. DJ is your depoy. Jokic, Most Improved. And Steve Kerr, 68 and 14 there in Golden State. He's your Coach of the Year. All right, so, a disappointing first season. There's no way to kind of spin that in a positive direction. We are going to end up as the 13 seed here in the Western Conference, and something that I'm, kind of just realizing and now really hoping is that we have our first round pick, because I did not check on that before year 1. So let's get into it. Points per game. Russ was fantastic. 30 points, 11 boards, 7.5 assists. He was about 51% from the field, and about only 4% from 3. You'd like to see that go up, but I'm sure his usage rate is through the roof. Now, Victor Oladipo and our number 2 options, Steven Adams, Sabonis, Martin, Payne, VanVleet, Hickson, Robertson, and then Patterson. Rebounds per game was Russ, and assists also Russell Westbrook. So no playoffs for us here in OKC in year 1. We will sim through this real quick. It is the Warriors and the Cavs. Goes 7 games, and Steph Curry gets his first career Finals MVP. Okay. This is going to be a big offseason for us because I do not want to head into the next offseason not having a really good foundation set already. So this is the challenge system, all-star captains, all that fun stuff, and this is just the Nike logo for all these different teams. So draft lottery, I'm hoping we do have our first-round pick. We do. It's projected to be at number 4 right now. This is, of course, the 2017 draft class. Tatum, Adebayo, Donovan Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox. A lot of talented names in this class. And we end up with a 3rd overall pick, which is really, really nice. I think there is a couple different ways we can kind of go about this one, so we will obviously decide that once we get up to the draft. Now, Billy Donovan has some pretty good ratings. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, part of me says we just won 27 games, and I maybe should look for, somebody else, but we also really didn't give him a lot to work with. And considering the ratings are good, we'll hang on to him for now. And of course, Billy Donovan is interesting option at the head coaching spot. So the 3rd overall pick is definitely nice. It is something to work with. Now looking at the scouting, that's not what I'm looking for. Now looking at the scouting, it is, Kuzma, Mitchell, Tatum. Positionally, I'm thinking probably small forward, maybe power forward, depending what we want to do with Sabonis. I mean, if I just want to take the best player in the class, it's probably Jason Tatum, but I also think he'll probably going to, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hope that some team is delusional enough to take Kyle Kuzma ahead of Mitchell, Tatum, Mark, and all these guys. If one of Mitchell or Tatum goes first overall, then I'm going to trade up and select the other one of them. If Kuzma goes number 1 overall, then we're good. I'll just take Mitchell or Tatum. So we're getting either Mitchell or Tatum, basically is what I'm trying to say. What's going to happen here? What the fuck? Okay, Dennis Smith Jr. going number 1 overall to the Atlanta Kuzma. All right, and just like that, Jason Tatum is going to land in our laps. It's nothing against Donovan Mitchell. He's absolutely incredible and has always been basically in this league, but Tatum is certainly somebody I would take ahead of him. So welcome to the team, JT. Andre Roberson probably was never going to be a long-term answer at the small forward spot for us, so excited about that one. Now, Payne and Van Vliet both going to be brought back on their team options, excuse me. Roberson's about $8.5 million at that qualifying. I know he's not necessarily in here to do. Wow, this makes me want to throw up. He was not necessarily anything special in terms of the stat sheet, but of course, his defensive ability isn't really measured into that. So I guess we'll qualify him. Of course, this being a pretty decent free agency class is certainly something I will keep in mind, but I do think we have at least 1 or 2 moves. Another trade that might piss off some Oklahoma City Thunder fans, we are dealing Steven Adams to the Houston Rockets, and we are landing ourselves Clint Capela in return. This is a deal that is strictly being made for financial purposes. I have no idea why Steven Adams is already making basically $22.5 million a year at only 23 years old, but he is, and that's the reality of the situation that we are in, and I'm not going to edit a contract that 2K set. So this deal with the Rockets is going to get Capela. Are they actually really the same age? That's kind of creepy. But Capela is, basically the same overall, and his numbers are pretty much just as good, if not better. So welcome to the team, Clint Capela. I see we got somebody named Bruce Ferguson back in this deal. He is certainly not going to be staying on this team. Wow, thank you very much, Chicago. And then I think there's one other player. Yeah, whoever Milt Connolly is, thank you very much. I feel like we're abusing the Bulls, but excited about that one. So there's a couple different ways we can go about this. Part of me says, just have Capela run the center spot, maybe keep Sabonis starting at the 4. But I think we're trying to win games, right? We have an MVP candidate in Russell Westbrook on this team. We obviously have a rookie, Jason Tatum. Victor Oladipo will hopefully take another step. I think I want to try to throw a little bit of money here at Mr. Paul Millsap. So he has a couple offers out right now, including $153 million over 5 years from the Atlanta Hawks. I'm pulling up my phone doing a calculator right now. It's about $30.5 million annually. So I'm going to certainly have to pay if I want to go out and maybe acquire Millsap. That is actually a max contract, so maybe a little risky giving him the player option and the no trade clause, but if it helps me kind of go over the top, I'll do it. And then I'm actually going to offer Hayward the same thing. Again, maybe a little risky, but I want to get one of them. In yesterday's video, I got Steph Curry. Probably not needed today. I don't think KD would be interested in returning, and then Chris Paul doesn't make a lot of sense either. So Millsap or Hayward is kind of what we're aiming for right now. After those two, there's a pretty significant drop-off in terms of the talent here. So we end up landing ourselves both guys. I'm actually going to go with Millsap. I guess maybe more of a natural power forward, if you will. So we may lose out on Andre Roberson. Yeah, well, do I have to? Yeah, I don't really want to move anybody else. So Roberson's going to go, but that's fine. We're replacing him with basically a 90 overall on this team, and he wasn't going to start anyways heading into this final season. Wait, is it going to... No, it's not going to let me pay him. Okay, I thought it was for a second. All right, so here's how it's going to look. I'm not going to have J.J. Hickson still as my backup center. We'll sign somebody else, but it's going to be Millsap, Sabonis. We got to get Tatum a backup, and then we're actually going to stick with the two young guys with Van Vliet, and campaign. So no other major moves, but I think the moves we have made are going to really be beneficial towards this group. Oh my God, Vince fucking Carter sitting here. Wow, these are not great options. Okay, Justin Holiday is 6'6". Why not? He can slide into that backup small forward spot. And then maybe Anthony Morrow, or JJ Hickson, excuse me, actually does stay as my backup center. It wasn't really what I was initially anticipating, but it might just have to do for now. All right, I'll see you guys at the start of year number 2. Somewhat busy offseason for us here in Oklahoma City. Last season, of course, being a pretty big disappointment, just to kind of say it straight up. We had to make some pretty big moves, and we ended up making some pretty big moves. Now, I'm not really sure why Victor Oladipo is regressing. That is certainly a little disappointing, considering he's only 25 years old, but that is the case in the situation we find ourselves in. Him, of course, being paired up with Russell Westbrook. We just drafted Jason Tatum, 3rd overall. We signed Paul Millsap in free agency, and then traded for Clint Capela. Bench unit's okay. I'd say it's maybe even a little bit better than last year. Of course, Sabonis went from starter to 6-man, which I guess a little unfortunate for him, but he's only 75 overall. Justin Holiday going to be behind him. Cameron Payne developing quite nicely. Fred VanVleet, and then JJ Hickson rounding out the 10-man rotation. So that's the team. I expect to be back in the playoffs this year. I'm not saying we're up there with like the Warriors and the Spurs and all those teams yet, but slowly but surely making our way there. I'll see you guys at the end of year 2. Year 2 wasn't anything special, but it was certainly a step in the right direction. Now, 45-37 is the record, and honestly, I'll take it. Now, LeBron James, he's your MVP. Who? You got a draft class with Tatum, Mitchell, Adebayo, Fox, I guess Kuzma, and Geraldo Law is your rookie of the year. Okay. Eric Bledsoe, 6-man. DJ, another Depoy. You got Moutier winning most improved, and Ty Lue, head coach of the Cavaliers, as they go 66-16. Okay, let's take a look at the standings. We end up as the 6th seed here. And wow, a very good Western Conference. It'll be us in Denver in round 1. And then here's a look at the East. Let's go over some of the numbers real quick on the season. Russell Westbrook, not quite 30 points a game, but he is up to triple-double territory once again, with 10 rebounds and 10 assists as well. So you got him, Paul Millsap, Oladipo, Capela, Tatum, Holiday, Payne, Sabonis, Hickson, and then VanVleet. Rebounds led by Russ, and assists is also Russ. So back in the playoffs is good, even if we are the lower seed here. Take a look at the Denver Nuggets. Of course, Nikola Jokic, 91 overall. Jamal Murray's about an 80 at this point, so they are good. I think, we could maybe give them a little bit of a battle. No, maybe not. Okay. We are down 3-1, and we get bounced in 5. Disappointing ending to what was a somewhat positive season in the Phoenix. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Steph Curry signed with the Suns. Okay, well, as we approach our final offseason, this wasn't necessarily the position I wanted to be in. Part of me said that I wanted to make sure that we were, I guess close to contending. I don't know if we're close to contending by this point, but we're about as good as I guess we have to work with at this point. So let's sim up to staff signing. Does Billy Donovan deserve to stay? Steve Kerr's sitting here. I think a lot of this is going to depend who my other options are. Mike Stauffer's here. Brevin Gilliard, Jacob Underwood, Budenholzer's here as well. I don't want to fire Billy Donovan. I don't think he deserves it with those ratings, but I think we've underachieved. And if I have to go out and get Stauffer in a video like this, that's fine. So I am going to make Steve Kerr an offer. I don't think there's any chance he accepts it. Stauffer actually has 0 offers, so hopefully he accepts that. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Well, I might have made a mistake. Maybe we just bring back Billy Donovan. Okay. Well, Billy, I guess you just got a contract extension. Okay. Let's head up to the draft. I actually don't think we have our first. We do not. We have a second at number 19, but not going to use it. And let's hit up the team player options now. All right, Russ declines. He's entering unrestricted free agency. Of course, he is going to be my first and biggest priority, and then we will get to pretty much everybody else. But Russ has 13 offers, only kind of 2 real ones. Looks like Denver's interested in signing him, but I am just going to pay Mr. Westbrook because if not, this video is over. And then I wouldn't mind paying Freddie VanVleet, and then, of course, got to get Capela back as well. He's restricted, actually. He's not going anywhere. So let's pay him about $14 annually. Welcome back, Russ. Okay, at this point in time, it is clear and very, very evident that we need to make at least one more big move. And I'll see you guys at that trade. Okay, we just pulled off a trade with the Portland Trailblazers and landed ourselves a little bit of an upgrade at the shooting guard spot, getting CJ McCollum. Now, CJ McCollum is not, a crazy jump from Victor Oladipo. He's certainly a better player. He's about 4 overalls higher, but Oladipo was honestly a little disappointing last season. We also saw a little bit of regression, which was certainly strange. So landing CJ McCollum, who has been fantastic for the Portland Trailblazers, is a very welcome addition to this group. So part of me says there's still one more move that needs to be made. I don't necessarily doubt that. It's just really what kind of, assets do we have to give up? What kind of money do we have available? So I will consider a few different things, but definitely need some backups here. That kind of goes without being said. So first and foremost, let's look at some of the big man options. This is disgusting. I think Davis Bertans honestly wouldn't be the worst idea in the world, and then we would just likely move Sabonis back to the center spot. So welcome to the team, Bertans. And then I do need to figure out the backup shooting guard position, but this might be as good as it gets, which is certainly a little risky considering we haven't won a playoff series yet. And really hoping Paul Millsap doesn't regress. He was good, no doubt about it. He was good, but I would be dumb not. Oh god, this is just disgusting. Like LaMarcus Aldridge, not bad, but just no, none of that's really that much better. I mean, I could consider some Capela options here. Like if I do Clint Capela in the 1 first-round pick we have remaining, what's it looking like here at the center spot? Anyways, yeah, just nothing here that's really moving the needle for me too much. So, all right, we are just gonna go ahead and look at some backup shooting guard options. This actually makes me want to throw up. I hate the two-way fucking bullshit that they throw in these like historic rebuilds. What I might do now is, yeah, DeLon Wright, 6'5", I guess might as well play him at the backup too. All right, I will see you all at the start of year number 3. I would be lying to all of you if I said I wasn't extremely nervous heading into the final regular season here in Oklahoma City. This team has capped out so far at 47 wins and losing in, 6 games in round 1, so that's not necessarily positive. Now, this offseason, we went ahead and made a few big moves. First and foremost, the CJ McCollum edition is going to be very, very big. His kind of, I guess, play style is hopefully going to change this team in the way that we end up winning games. Now, Jason Tatum also developing up to an 83 overall, but other than that, there wasn't anything major. So that's the starting 5 with Russ, CJ, JT, Paul Millsap, and Capela. Good news is Cam Payne is up to an 81 overall, which is certainly a positive development because I was a little nervous about this bench, but it's going to be him, Sabonis, Justin Holiday, Davis Bertans, and then DeLon Wright rounding it out. And of course, we did fire Billy Donovan, and then we brought him back. So that's where we're at for now. I am just going to kind of hope and pray this thing works out, and I'll see you guys at the end of year 3. A very nice way to wrap up year 3 here in Oklahoma City. Not only does Russell Westbrook win the MVP award, but he leads us to a record of 68-14, which is clearly by far the best season we've had throughout this rebuild, and we are hoping that it can result in a championship. DeAndre Ayton, your Rookie of the Year, wins it over, Luka Doncic, Trae Young, all those guys. Eric Bledsoe, once again, 6th man. DJ, once again, Depoy. Jamal Murray, Most Improved. And Billy Donovan is your Coach of the Year. So, as we approach, the final playoff run for us throughout this video, I am, hopeful, and I am, thinking that this team can make some serious noise, but I haven't seen it so far, so I am just going to assume that it's probably on this way. So there are the numbers. Scoring looks like it's pretty well spread out outside of the top 2. Rebounds is Russ, and assists is also Russ. So us and the Minnesota Timberwolves here in round 1. They have a 94 overall. Karl-Anthony Towns. What the fuck? All due respect to Karl-Anthony Towns, he has never once in his career been this good. Good player, though. Here goes nothing. We have the best player in the series, no doubt about that. We do end up winning in 6. Now we move on to the Utah Jazz here in round 2 with Rudy Gobert, Gordon Hayward. You got Exum, Luke Kennard, Derek Favors in there, but I think we are, again, clearly just the better team and obviously have the best player in the series. So up 3-1 right now. No. 2K, thank you. West Finals, us and the Denver Nuggets. I am thankful to have avoided the Golden State Warriors. Actually, Steph left. Yeah, he signed with the Phoenix Suns. Okay. Denver's really good, and they now have Jamal Murray coming off the bench for whatever reason, but I'm a little nervous, and I want to get revenge for them beating us last year. We are 2-2 right now. We go down 3-2. Shit. I am stressing out a little bit about this one, and it is not going well so far. Oh, fuck. Okay. Well, we are going to end up not even making the finals in this video. Denver wins it all, and Nikola Jokic, I guess, is already in MVP form here in 2018-2019. So, all right, capping this one off. Only my second ever rebuild in the Curry era, and it did not end on a good note. So I will obviously hit the reset button, think about the things we could have done a little bit differently throughout this video. But yeah, it's just kind of been the story of the Thunder for throughout these years. I mean, they got really close a couple different times, and of course, could never get over that final hump. So my apologies, Thunder fans. I thought we put together a pretty good team, and I did enjoy this one. So I hope you guys did as well. Let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comment section. We are going to continue to do these Curry-era rebuilds, but also want to mix in some other things that I know you guys want to see, because we're going to start up the trading every player rebuilds pretty soon, all that fun stuff. So this one was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comment section. Wait, I fucked that up. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.